In a realm beyond conception, there existed two opposing forces, cosmos and chaos. Cosmos, a universe of order, possessing three spatial dimensions and a single linear time dimension, was bound by the unyielding law of cause and effect, karma. In stark contrast, chaos thrived beyond such confines. Free from the shackles of a singular timeline and limited spatial dimensions, chaos was timeless and formless. It represented an eternal, dynamic becoming, both the origin and demise of all things, embodying true freedom. Chaos, in its infinite possibilities, held the seeds for the birth of cosmic existence, yet remained anticosmic. The pandimensional and formless nature of chaos acted as the antithesis to the ordered structures of cosmos. When chaos did permeate the barriers of cosmic spacetime, it was viewed as destructive, consuming the limiting forms and dissolving the structure, returning all to a state of timelessness and formlessness, with chaos as the beginning and the end of all. Although it interpenetrated everything, chaos was particularly potent at nections, gates through which its acausal powers could flow into the cosmos. Chaos existed within and beyond the incomprehensible emptiness as both zero-dimensional and pandimensional, timely and timeless, spaceless yet moving through the space continuum. It was the eternal origin containing the seed of all dimensions, both manifest and unmanifest. Symbolized by the black flame, the spiritual essence of chaos was mirrored in humanity. The T, representing the ego, was a limitation shaped by cosmic existence. In contrast, the self, the inner acausal core, embodied the latent force of chaos. The ego, blinded by the light of the cosmos, could find keys to chaos by delving into the abyss of the self and unveiling the acausal potential within. The pentagram's spirit point represented the acausal self restrained by the formed elements symbolizing the ego. By returning these elements to the acausal fires of the self, the ego could revert to the boundless state of chaos. Pure self-knowledge, attained through direct experience with the inner and outer acausal powers, was the path to liberation. Numbers and symbols further elucidated this cosmic and acausal dichotomy. The womb of zeroth-dimensional chaos contrasted with the cosmic order represented by numbers 1 through 10. 11, transcending cosmic completion, symbolized lawlessness, freedom, and the gateway to primeval chaos. The 11-angled sigil, representing gnosis, served as a sigillic manifestation, opening the way to acausal freedom. The dragon, an ancient symbol of chaos, exemplified this ideology with the antagonism between the primeval dragon mother Tiamat and the post-cosmic black dragon Huber. Through awakening the black dragon of acausal fire, the adept could annihilate the illusions of cosmic existence, achieving absolute liberation. Hail chaos and all it embodies within the spectrum of existence. In many satanic traditions, Lucifer and Satan are considered two separate powers representing different principles and elements. Typically, Satan is associated with the cardinal point south and the element of fire, while Lucifer is linked to the eastern point of the compass and the element of air. However, within the temple of the black light, Lucifer and Satan are understood to be forms and descriptions of the same essence. This view stems from the belief that the ancient dark gods are nameless and beyond human comprehension. Names and forms given to these entities are considered fluid and symbolic rather than static in their essence and meaning. Our approach is to directly experience and intuitively understand the effects of these dark forces, penetrating into the hidden heart of darkness to grasp their impact on spiritual, mental, astral, and physical planes. Only then can names be assigned to these forces, acting as tools to describe their significant qualities as understood by the limited human mind. The greater the power or principle, the more names and symbols are needed to describe it. In a similar vein, abstract symbols serve as keys to unlock deeper unconscious understanding. Lucifer and Satan, for us, describe different aspects of a single spiritual force. Lucifer, meaning bearer of light, represents the power that brings forbidden wisdom, enlightenment, and gnosis. Lucifer is the secret, black fire that burns away illusions and awakens the inner black flame within us, illuminating the path to self-divinity and freedom. Within this tradition, Lucifer acts as an anti-cosmic Prometheus, bringing the forbidden fire of the gods to those who can comprehend it. This leads individuals to an enlightened state, opposed to the natural cosmic order. On the other hand, Satan means adversary, opposer, and accuser. Thus, Lucifer and Satan are not separate entities but one essence of spiritual fire. Lucifer describes the enlightening effect on those who follow the left-hand path, while Satan describes the adversarial reaction to those aligned with the demiurgic lies of the cosmos. Because of this unified essence, we invoke Lucifer for blessings and illumination and Satan in more adversarial contexts. Many different names across cultures represent the same power we associate with Lucifer Satan, including Kingo, Apep, Set, Typhon, Ahriman, and Prometheus, among others. Regardless of the name used, the essence remains the same, and an initiate must first internalize the hidden meanings before establishing contact with these dark forces. Salve Lucifer Satan. In the teachings of our current regarding the Qliphoth, we offer a distinctive perspective on the highest triad in the first hell of the Qliphoth, encompassing Satariel, Gagiel, and Thaumiel. Traditionally, outside our current, this triad is referred to as Sheol, translated as the pit, the grave, or under the earth. This naming convention aimed to emphasize that the highest aspects of the Qliphoth were considered the lowest form of spiritual descent. By connecting the Qliphoth to gross and empty matter, these traditions sought to place their demiurgic god at the pinnacle of spiritual light. In contrast, our view does not align with this false light. We perceive the Qliphoth as the black light manifested, representing opposition to cosmic creation. For us, the descent into the abyss/death is through gnosis, symbolizing genuine spiritual ascent and transcendence. Consequently, we avoid labeling the highest spheres with a name that denotes them as the lowest. However, this exoteric reason is not the sole factor for our rejection of the name Sheol in favor of Tehom. The esoteric reason lies in the meaning of Tehom, which signifies the great deep of the primordial waters, of chaos, the deep, and abyss. This term derives from the Babylonian name of the dragon, Tiamat. The plural form, Tehamoth, meaning depths, further reveals its roots. Esoterically, Tehom is associated with chaos and pre-Judaic concepts of the primal acausal force. One might wonder why we do not use the term for the three forms beyond Thaumiel, as Tohu, Bohu, and Chesek align better with the triad of chaos concept. Esoterically, they represent the unmanifested triad of chaos or, in some contexts, a downwards pointing triangle of black light. This understanding forms the basis for calling their three manifested aspects on the tree of death/Dath Tehom. Thaumiel, Gagiel, and Satariel embody Tohu, formless/chaos, Bohu, emptiness, and Chesek, darkness. Tohu, formless chaos, manifests within Thaumiel, symbolized by the number 2, 2 = 1 + 1 = 11 = chaos, governed by the two crowned heads/the two-headed dragon/the twins of God/Thaumaton. Satan and Moloch here represent chaos and the essence of the twofold flame of Tohu, the most transcendent aspects of the dark gods. Bohu, emptiness, manifests within Gagiel, signifying the absence of the demiurgic logos, associated with silence and emptiness. Here, Beelzebub acts as the hinderer of God, silencing the word of God. God here refers to the demiurge Yhvh, and symbolizing the absence of cosmic causal law and the will to form and create. Chesek, darkness, manifests within Satariel, representing that which exists outside the false light of Sephirotic existence, hidden within the outer darkness. Lucifuge Rophakael, he who shuns the light, dispels the illusions of the Creator's false light, establishing the purifying darkness illuminated by the black light. Thus, Satariel becomes the Qliphoth of hidden darkness, the entry point to the 7 lower Qliphoth of the outer tree of Dath. Due to these associations with the 3 veils of anti-existence/3 dark veils before Satan and the Qliphotic triad of Satariel, Gagiel, and Thaumiel, we followers of the 218 current choose to name the first hell Tehom instead of Sheol. The concept of tzimtzum, meaning contraction and condensation, is pivotal in understanding the demiurgic light impulse and the motion of Ein Sof. This idea is significant in our tradition because it relates to the coagula and restriction of the originally lawless, or acausal, becoming of primal Azoth.
primal Azoth is the uncreated element of chaos, unbound by the later created four elements of the cosmos.
Tzimtzum initiated the existence of time, space, and causality within Lurianic Kabbalah. From our perspective, it marks the act of falling emanations descending from the right side of Ein Sof towards eventual manifestation within Maketh. Our tradition posits that thoughtless, black, light did not emanate within the same realm, or more accurately, the void, where the demiurgic light did.
The second emanation of Ein Sof was a sinistral impulse, introduced to counteract the objectives of the thoughtful light.
Just as demiurgic light acts as the coagulant impulse and restricts the sparks of the divine into a once empty space, the black light functions as the solve impulse, filling a parallel empty space with its emanations to counteract the manifestations of the light of creation. In this manner, the Sitra Ara becomes an antithetical mirror image of the tree of life within the outer darkness. This dichotomy is essential to anti-cosmic gnosis, distinguishing the day side from the night side fundamentally. While explaining the interaction between universe A/1 and universe B/2 equals LL. Through qliphothic intrusion into the day side, the night side's forces help return the divine sparks, constrained within Sephirotic forms, back to their original unbound state before Tzimtzum imprisoned them within the cosmic vessels or kalams of Hyle. Qliphotic forces often manifest through various forms of cosmic dissolution and are seen as agents of destruction. However, their true mission is the liberation of Azoth, or spirit.
Parallels can be drawn to the Enuma Elish, where Ein is akin to the dual void of Tiamat and Absu, with thoughtful light emerging from the unconscious state of primal chaos. The black light, seen as Absu's will to slay the new gods and Tiamat's wrath, gave birth to the 11 champions of chaos. From a related perspective, Sitra Ara isn't merely leftovers or shells, it is as old and divine as the Sephirotic world of the Tree of Life, embodying different divine impulses, coagula and restriction versus solve and liberation. The spheres of Qliphoth manifested almost simultaneously with the Sephirot, forming an adversarial reflection in the outer darkness. We also recognize a form of shattering of the vessels, akin to Lurianic Kabbalah, but with differing causality beliefs. Rather than seeing the fallen sparks requiring redemption through elevation, we believe redemption came from their transcendence into the Sitra Ara.
The shattering, caused by the Ad-Azoth process, released the Azoth from imprisoned clay, orchestrated by the black light and tied to Lucifer's gift and the fruits of death to humankind. An eon is in esoteric doctrine the term for a spiritual force or energy that for a period of at least 2,000 years permeates, changes and controls the causal plane.
Each eon has its spring, summer, autumn, and winter period.
During its spring period, the eon, which in many ways is a living and organic force, is the youngest and has just undergone an eon shift, constantly increasing in strength and power. During its summer period, the eon is at its strongest and transforms everything that cannot withstand its forces into forms that are in harmony with its own energies. During its autumn period, the eon is in its declining phase and is slowly beginning to lose control of its own creation. Finally, the winter period of the waning eon begins, meaning war, resistance, dissolution, and the annihilation of the ruling order of the ruling eon. This leads to a change of eon and the birth of a new eon. Each eon has its own magical, religious, philosophical, political, artistic, and moral form, which at each change of eon is repressed and expelled to make room for the forms of the new eon. It is through these forms that each eon manifests its cosmic essence on the causal plane and thus affects and vampirizes the consciousness of mankind. In Chaos Gnosticism, the eons, often described as 7 in number, are considered different aspects of the demiurge and are usually symbolized by the 7 planetary spheres. These 7 eons are usually called archons, meaning rulers, and are attributed to the function of keeping the human spirit imprisoned in the cosmic prison by surrounding creation in 7 circles. To transcend the rule of the simple eons, the magician must amplify his inner black chaos fire and, by opening the dragon's eyes, learn to see through the illusory forms of the archons, eons. These 7 archons are the same as the 7 primary cosmic gods worshipped in ancient Sumeria, described as enemies of the primordial essence and the acausal origin, Tiamat. These eons are also mentioned in ancient Sanskrit texts, which state that the world is under the illusory and false rule of 7 eons. The essence that all these mentioned religious forms have in common is the claim that after these 7 eons out of the original chaos, everything, i.e., all forms, must dissolve and return to the formless chaos of the zeroth dimension. This great resolution, called Mahapralaya in Sanskrit, is called Day of Wrath within MLO. This day of wrath leads to the beginning of chaos, timeless and pan-dimensional eon, exoterically called the Dark Endless Eon. MLO aims to contribute to the annihilation of the current eon through its anti-cosmic work and to speed up the start of Mahapralaya or Day of Wrath. The Ionic black magic is one of Satanism's most powerful weapons, which in accordance with his strong will, can create global change. To practice this most esoteric form of magic, the magician must first obtain anti-cosmic Ionic gnosis. In the dark sanctum of chaos, 4 ancient thrones stood around an altar of black fire, each ruled by a lord of dark virtues. Lucifer, lord of the southern throne, embodied the wrathful chaos and the illuminating darkness. His eyes were twin flames of black light, burning away all illusions. The Luciferian tower opened on October 31st, channeling the power for those quests to wisdom and strength, igniting a black fire that purified the strong while dissolving the weak. Lucifer's light was a guide for the chosen and a destroyer of cosmic deceptions, ensuring the Satanists' place among the dark gods for eternity. Beelzebub sat upon the eastern throne, bringing storm winds of evolution. Known as the Lord of the Flies, he devoured ancient forms, leaving behind pure emptiness. The Nilufer Tower opened on June 21st, channeled for meditations and rites to dissolve values and egos, creating stronger satanic beings. Its energies were the shadow of Luciferian light, representing anti-existence and pure chaos, leading adherents into deeper mysteries. Belial, the bloodthirsty and feared warrior king, ruled the northern throne. In the final war, he would lead the legions to dissolve the cosmos into ashes. The Mortifer Tower opened on December 22nd, harnessed for rites of war and destruction. Belial's power spurred global change and personal evolution, making him a figure of protection and wrathful chaos, ensuring no order stood unchallenged. Lastly, Leviathan, the dragon of chaotic oceans and the force beyond all form, occupied the western throne. The Chaosifer Tower, opening on April 30th, brought forth the acausal sea to flood creation, restoring the primordial chaos. Its energies summon change, confusion, and madness, awakening both inner and outer dragon powers. Leviathan's chaos was dynamic, leading Satanists beyond cosmos-bound limits to eternal, ever-evolving potential. Together, these 4 thrones and their chaotic towers channeled the acausal energies through 5 magical weapons: dagger, scepter, chalice, disc, and the central black altar light, each symbolizing aspects of chaos, power, and anti-cosmic wisdom. The Luciferian dagger excised illusion and burned weaknesses, symbolizing triumph. Beelzebub's scepter controlled sinister energies, representing authority. Leviathan's chalice, the mirror of the soul, held the primal waters of chaos, and Belial's pentagram disc symbolized secular power and destructive feminine energy.
The 5 steps of satanic alchemy are complex sequences that involve the transformation of the self through diverse planes of existence. The steps are Teninsum Circuit, Baphomet Circuit, Circuit of the Wolves of Chaos, Vampire Circuit, and Azerate Circuit. Each step signifies a different aspect of transformation, from physical alchemy to transcendence and anti-cosmic transcendence. Starting with Nigredo, or darkening. This initiates the left-hand path, leading to the awakening of hidden potential and personal transformation. During Albedo, control over emotions and self-awakening are emphasized, leading to astral purification and catharsis. Xanthosis follows, which focuses on mental gilding and mental elevation, signifying the transformation of the self according to the acausal essence. In the stage of Rubedo, the self achieves spiritual refinement, mastering formless magic and obtaining chaos gnosis. Finally, Atazoth represents the ultimate transcendence,
producing the Philosopher's Stone and reaching an acausal existence. The tetrahedron symbolizes causality, time, space, and the shaped world, embodying three spatial dimensions plus the fourth dimension, time. It stands for the four elements: fire, air, water, and earth, as well as their spiritual, mental, astral, and physical planes. When combined with the acausal fifth dimension, known as the black flame, the tetrahedron converts to a pentagram. The magician uses the tetrahedron during rituals to separate the outer elements from his inner black flame, symbolizing control over all formed things. During these rituals, the tetrahedron can be visualized or physically represented, serving as a focal point. A seal can be placed within or on the tetrahedron, symbolizing intended changes on various planes. Through invocation pentagrams and the activation of specific elemental invocations, the magician directs his will to create change. By invoking the black burning pentagram, the magician activates the inner black dragon and directs sinister acausal forces to manifest his will. The qliphothic spheres represent further dimensions of dark energy, with each sphere having a specific dark god or goddess. Through appropriate rituals, including the use of symbols, seals, and sacrifices, the black magician channels these energies to follow his inner chaos flame. The secondary qliphots, demonic authorities, govern the paths binding the primary qliphots and facilitate the opening of passages to Sitra Ara, the other side. These energies are harnessed through visualization, the vibration of names, and blood sacrifices, allowing the magician to tap into dark, anti-cosmic power. Deep within the dark, esoteric traditions of numerous cultures lies the compelling concept known as the shackled beast, a metaphor for the anti-cosmic impulse hidden in every human soul. In ancient Persian demonology, this concept is embodied by Azerate, Ahriman's formidable offspring, depicted as a three-headed dragon. According to legend, Azerate was imprisoned by cosmic gods beneath a massive mountain due to its immense power that defied eradication. Despite being confined, Azerate continued to challenge the cosmic order with dark and chaotic impulses. The legend foretells that during the final battle, Azerate will break free and, alongside Ahriman, Druff, Eshmadiva, and their bloodthirsty legions, dismantle the demiurge Ahura Mazda and his creation. Similarly, in Norse mythology, the Fenris wolf occupies Azerate's role as the chained, ancient antagonist who will eventually break his chains and trigger the twilight of the gods, killing Odin and aiding in the cosmic order's end. The Fenris wolf symbolizes a formidable force held within the darkest recesses of the human psyche, an embodiment of chaos that yearns to dominate mankind. Greek mythology also depicts a primordial chaotic force in the form of the Titan Typhon. Typhon, an ancient embodiment of chaos, posed a significant threat to the Olympic gods. Despite Zeus imprisoning him in the underworld under a volcano, Typhon continued to channel his chaotic influence into the world. The mythology predicts that Typhon and his titans will return in the final battle to avenge their suppression, reinstating chaos over order. In Jewish Kabbalah, the qliphothic tree, or tree of death, references Thagirion, the sixth anti-cosmic emanation, where the beast 666 resides. Thagirion is ruled by the demon god Belphegor, whose Luciferian light can awaken the anti-cosmic seed within humans, transforming them back into chaos. Belphegor's manifestation, be it a demon princess or prince, reveals the true nature of the beast to the chosen and allows them to unite with Soreth, the Antichrist and prince of Thagirion. The entity Soreth is described in the Christian Bible as the anti-Christian beast 666. By embracing the forces of dark chaos, one can become the beast 666, unleashing an internal and external wrath that permeates the cosmos.